All right, let's talk about the over 500 Carolina Panthers, 5-4 here. I mean, they're a legitimate contender, right? You're 5-4. You are your record. They have a real chance. Beat a very good Green Bay Packers team, a team many think could be Super Bowl champions when it's all said and done. And Carolina went into Lambeau and came out with a win. Not easy to do. Let's talk about what they did well. And I know Bryce Young had I think he had 102 yards in this game. So many people might say, okay, well, he was very much a passenger. And listen, the headline is their defense. But I already made a video talking about kind of what the Panthers defense did to Jordan Love and the Packers offense. So let's talk about Bryce Young, and he was still able to do some really nice things. So this play, you have a concept designed to get Ted McMillan open, so it's zone coverage. They're going to run a play action, and they also even have they're not going to run a play action, but they have a setup route, the one that's kind of just going to run a couple yards down the field and stop to try and draw those linebackers in, and then McMillan's going to run past him. Watch. Young takes a snap, setup route works, those players do move in, and for McMillan down the field, there is still a way for Green Bay to cover this, and that's what's happening. The corner is making sure that he plays this well, creates tight coverage, just breaks in and covers this up. So, not a bad scheme by Carolina, but it's well defended by Green Bay. However, Bryce Young's just going to kind of say, you know what, I trust my receiver. And I have to say, one of the real underrated aspects of Bryce Young's game is, well, really everything. I just think he's an underrated player. Like, I'm not saying he's a star, but I think people talk about him like he's, Mitchell Trubisky or something. But one of the things I'm really impressed with him is that despite the lack of receiving talent he's had over his career, he hasn't, stopped trusting his receivers. He'll still give his guys opportunities. Here, watch him put one in a spot where McMillan, that's a tough grab, but that's exactly where you want the ball to be as well. So this is good stuff. It's great offense. It's great receiving by Ted McMillan, but it's a good job by Young as well to make that throw. And also heading over here, one thing that Young's always done well and continues to do well is rushing. He's a very good scrambling quarterback, and he's going to show it in a couple of big spots in this game. So here, 4th down and 1, you don't convert. Green Bay is going to get the ball in good field position, early on in the game. Feels like a huge play. Bryce Young is going to take the snap. He runs a play action and looks further down the field. You see that there is pressure off the edge, and this is a disaster. This play has not worked as designed, and you dial up something you think is going to work on 4th and 1. It does not. Well, this is why Bryce Young got drafted first overall. Watch him be able to avoid that pressure, and then he steps up and he has the first down. So really good stuff here. This is where he does something odd. So Bryce Young has the first down. You can just slide at this point. You picked up the yards you need, or just rush forward, make sure you get out of bounds. Edgerrin Cooper, a linebacker. Hey, if you're in the field of play, defenders are going to take a run at you. That's just the quarterback position. You got to know how to protect yourself. It's weird. Watch what Young does with the football. Watch him put it in his left hand. He sticks out his right hand and then just takes a shot. I'm assuming the idea was he was hopeful that the defender would kind of attack his open hand, which is still not ideal. Hey, that's what you throw with. But instead, he takes a shot. It's dangerous getting thrown kind of into the sideline like that. You could get hit. Those flags were picked up, though, because it was a legal play. You didn't get yourself out of bounds. Got to protect yourself. Can't rely on the refs protecting you. Can't rely on the defenders protecting you. Got to make sure you protect yourself. I know the rules have shifted, but still have to do that. This play, another key one, 3rd down and 3, early on in the second half right here. Bryce Young takes the snap. Micah Parsons actually gives up containment, goes too far to the outside. Good piece of blocking by the left tackle there for Carolina to knock him away. So now for Bryce Young, there's nothing going on the bottom half of the screen. Again, simply just take what the defense gives you, steps up, runs, picks up the first down, and hey, this time he does get to the sideline, although even then he kind of slowed up a little bit. So hey, Bryce Young, sprint to the sideline. It's okay. I get it. You don't want to sprint too far and then run into someone, but maybe be a little bit careful there. But hey, got the first down. These are good plays from Young. It was not perfect. We can talk about the bad play that happened in this game that had Carolina lost. This is the play you would have thought of if you're a Panthers fan. So, so far, both teams not on the scoreboard, but Carolina looking to change that. 3rd down and 6 at the 15-yard line. They have a one-on-one matchup on the outside. And hey, one of two things should happen here. Either you hit this matchup, you're able to get a touchdown, you're throwing to Xavier Legette, or it's incomplete. You're able to still kick a field goal and score 3 points in a game that early on definitely has the feel of every point is going to matter in this one. Watch what happens. Young takes the snap. He's going to look at Legette's direction, and as of right here, this is a good situation. I mean, throw it over the defensive back's head. Get your receiver to make a tough catch. I guess there is the 1 in 100 chance the defender gets his head turned around, makes a great athletic interception, but the odds are so small. Like, this is the correct throw. The issue is just the throw itself. So Young had a little bit of pressure, but not that much. I watched just to make sure it wasn't tipped. It was not tipped. This throw is just off, and it gets intercepted there in the end zone. I mean, I think that was just a missed throw. I don't think there was anything else about that. I watched the play a bunch of times to see, was there something I missed there? I don't believe so. I think he just let one get away from him. So definitely not ideal there. And again, if you're going to be a game manager and not throw the ball a ton, well, mistakes get amplified, right? So got to cut that out. But let's talk about the end of the game situation. So this is a 13-13 football game right now for the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers had led all game, but they give up a touchdown late. Kind of felt like they were just letting the Packers hang around. Eventually the Packers were going to tie things up. They do. And you're thinking, if you're a Panthers fan, here we go. We played this great game, a real opportunity to show that we're a real football team, and then we're going to blow it late. Well, Bryce Young had something to say about that. So first, this one, it's a play-action rollout towards the top of the screen. You see the player lined up as a fullback is going to ultimately run a route here. Watch as when Bryce Young takes a snap, he rolls out, and oh no, this is not good. Multiple Packers players in position to try and make a tackle on Bryce Young. So, okay, not an ideal situation, but again, this is what Bryce Young, kind of what his main attribute was in college. Watch him be able to move around in the pocket and keep his eyes downfield. Ultimately, it does hit that player lined up as a fullback early on in the play, and they're able to pick up a first down. That's a really good play from Bryce Young. And again, if he doesn't make that play, if he gets sacked there, well, now it's 3rd and 15. They're almost certainly punting. The way the Packers offense finally woke up, you feel like that's probably it for the ball game. So a really important play. This next one, not quite as high degree of difficulty, but still a very important play. So 2nd down and 10. Again, if you don't convert here, now it's obvious passing 3rd and 10. You're in trouble. Ted McMillan's going to be the guy here. One-on-one matchup on the outside with zone coverage, but it's basically going to be a one-on-one matchup. First off, when Young takes a snap, great route from McMillan to create some separation. Again, for a big guy, the reason he was drafted 8th overall is because despite his size, he can move so well. He's such a good route runner. He's created some space. And what I like about this from Bryce Young is not only is the ball already on the way, it's already halfway there at this point. I mean, Young is getting the ball out of his hands when he needs to get the ball out of his hands. And as you see, McMillan makes the grab. They ultimately got a nice Rico Dowdle play a little bit later on in the drive, got in field goal range, ran out the clock, and won the football game. It's just good stuff here from Bryce Young. Like even this play, which was earlier, it's, a zone coverage play. They're running kind of a zone buster to, one receiver running deep, one receiver running shallow. The middle route is the one Young wants to look towards. As you see, he takes a snap, and this scheme works. And again, these aren't high degree of difficulty plays, but this is kind of what we were missing from Carolina, I thought, in Bryce Young's first 2 years, is these types of plays. I still don't think we're seeing enough of them right now, but we're at least seeing more of these types of situations. Young fires it. They're able to pick up the completion. So yeah, I mean, Bryce Young's stats have just never been good in Carolina, but I do think you see some nice things with him when you watch him play. I think he's one of those guys who his tape is just better than his numbers right now because they don't necessarily have these types of plays too frequently, but they had him enough in this game, and with their defense playing well, with Rico Dowdle being a great running back and Young doing enough, I don't think it's crazy that the Panthers could find themselves, in the postseason when it's all said and done. Now, they have a couple of easy games, and then their schedule gets a lot tougher. So they're 5-4. They play the Saints and the Falcons. 2 divisional matchups, not a guarantee for each of them, but you win those 2, that puts you at 7. Can you go 3-3 down the stretch? The 49ers is Monday Night Football the following week. That might be for the 7 seed. Those might be the 2 teams competing, so we'll see. And then they play the Rams, the Seahawks, the Buccaneers twice, and the Saints again. So it does get a lot tougher after that. But, an opportunity to at least stay in things. And the fact that they're midway through the season competing for a playoff spot, well, that's a lot better than I think some people thought they'd be. So especially, it's probably better than everyone thought they would be after week 2. So impressive stuff. But that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.